to score early goals so that to help them settle pretty well in the game. But quite unfortunate from the feelers that we are getting right now that Lesotho have taken the lead out there. I think it's a quite disappointing one. Even if Nigeria bounces back to win the game, yet it's still a very poor outing for me.
What is the implication if the game ends like this against Nigeria?
The implication is that Nigeria is going to sit bottom of the table because Lesotho will be sitting atop the table right now, depending on when South Africa and the other team plays their game. And you know what it means. If you are seated at the bottom of the table, heading into your second match, a whole lot of pressure will be piled up against Nigeria, and they will try to be very much, careful and play and trade with caution, and that gives you your next opponent even a better opportunity to, come in all angles to, get the goals against you, because they know quite well that you are under pressure. Being under pressure, you expect your opponent to take advantage of that.
As it stands now, Lesotho leads Nigeria at home 1-0 in their favor, and of course, a lot of people are already saying sack Pesero. If we get to lose this game, it certainly will. How will it affect the preparation for the African Conference? Because the two double header that we have, it seems to be the last time we might have any active engagement before the AFCON.
I think it's going to be a very bad psychological. When you talk about the psychology of the players, I think it's not going to be a good one. Heading to the African Cup of Nations, knowing fully well that getting the World Cup ticket is something that is very crucial, that we don't need to joke with it. And playing your first game, losing your first game against a lesser opponent such as Lesotho, heading to the Nations Cup, you don't have that confidence, because any team that you are going to play at the Nations Cup out there, we have it at the back of their mind that if a smaller team such as Lesotho could beat the giants, in quote, being the Super Eagles here, they have all it takes to also, beat the Super Eagles. So for me, I think that fear factor will not be there. If actually we lose this game, heading to the African Cup of Nations come January, that fear factor will not be there. And trust me, other teams want to take advantage of that by making sure they come all out to attack Nigeria from all angles, knowing fully well that they are not in the best of form.
Mwanazi scored in the 56 minutes to ensure that Lesotho leads Nigeria 1-0. It is 64 minutes right now, and still game on at Godswill Akpabio Stadium, and we are still tracking that game between Nigeria and Lesotho. Another result of games played so far, in the continent of Africa in the World Cup qualifier, we are seeing Sudan playing at the 1-0 draw at home to Togo after 57 minutes. Gabon plays, they're currently losing at home to Kenya in 54 minutes, and Algeria are currently defeating Somalia, still scoreline, so that is still 2-0 against Somalia. Egypt 3, Djibouti 0, and it looks like these are teams that they understand what it means getting the deed. And that game between Egypt and Djibouti, it looks like Mo Salah have scored a hat-trick in this encounter so far.
Wonderful. I said it earlier on that this is one man that is unsung, the unsung hero of the Egyptian national team, and also the red striker, informed striker, talking about Mohamed Salah. This is one man who can't stop scoring. He knows how to get goals. And outside of the equation, considering his last season performance with Liverpool,
but he's nominated.
He's nominated to be in the frame. We are talking about the likes of Bunus, the Algerian goalkeeper out there, who did pretty well for Sevilla and also took Morocco to the World Cup and made vital save out there. So for me, I think that man is a man that is going to give our own Victor Osimhen a very good run for his money. Mohamed Salah, picking up his scoring boot at this dying minute of the time when we are heading to the CAF, where I think he's not going to add any value. I strongly believe that Victor Osimhen and the Moroccan keeper is in a poor position to go home with that one.
Now let's go back to the Super Eagles game and look at the starting 11. Let's look at the defense, because that it's through the defense that the goal came.
Yeah.
Bassi, Jamilu Collins, Ajayi, and then Osayi Samuel. These are the defenders, and it looks like Coach, Santos Pesero, did a little bit gambling. I would have expected Kenneth Mario, who is experienced,
Yeah.
to a part. What could be responsible to choosing these starting defenders, line up as defenders, rather than the one that possibly Kenneth Mario and others?
I think the coach knows his reason. He is the coach of the national team, and the reason for dropping Kenneth Omeru on the bench to start with Calvin Bassey and possibly who is there in the
Started
five and
Kevin
six.
Bassey and then started Ajayi, Samuel Ajayi,
Yeah.
not forgetting Jamilu Collins.
Jamilu Collins, so I think for me, dropping Kenneth Omeru on the bench, I think it's not a good one because Kenneth Omeru has the experience, and this is the kind of game that you need that kind of experienced defender to sit in behind the front of the goalkeeper to be able to galvanize his defense pretty well because of the experience that he has garnered over the years. But dropping him on a bench, for me, I think that was the wrong decision from the coach. But then again, like I said, the coach knows best the reason why he had to drop Kenneth Omeru on the bench to start with Kelvin Bassey, Jamilu Collins, and the rest.
We see one goal in favor of Lesotho against Nigeria, and one cannot wonders. Ajayi is playing is on in the game now, and of course, we hope to bring you more. But then let's look at the midfield. It looks like he changed from the traditional, the formation rather,
Yeah.
the traditional 4-3-3 formation
yeah.
to 4-2-4 formation or 4-4-2 formation, which it's more like because of you want to say that yes, we have good attacking three,
Yeah.
but does that imply that we cannot get a formation that can easily choke up the Lesothians in this game? 4-4-2 is a very simple formation. Any good coach, with the right players can always disassemble, such a formation.
I think for me, going for that 4-4-2 formation is okay, but the way and manner to which his defense is able to coordinate themselves is going to be the problem, because if you are playing the 4-4-2 formation and your opponents look at your formation, and he can also reject his own squad. If, for example, a team plays 4-4-2 formation, then your opponent will know that you are out for attack, and that leaves your opponent in a more vantage position to be able to capitalize on the loose ball and hit you on the counter, because this when playing against low block team like Lesotho, you expect them to sit back, absorb the pressure, and hit you on the counter, and this is what I think they have been able to do. Watching some of the clips on the first half, I saw them sitting very deep. They refused to come out. They are sitting very deep. Nigeria was the one that is asking most of the question. But then again, if you are playing a low block team such as Lesotho with the formation that they have decided to deploy, what you need to do as a tactical coach that is very sound, what you do is for you to use two fast wingers, two pacey wingers.
I'll give them a run for their money.
Yes, so that you can be able to break that defense, because a team that is playing a low block team, they always sit. 9 of their players sit at the box, at the edge of the box. They don't come out. So what you do, a coach that has a good experience, deploy two good wingers that are very pacey, in the likes of Moses Simon and Ademola Lookman. That is why I'm surprised I kept Moses Simon on the bench, because if you are playing a fast and pacey winger, then that pacey wingers will help you to unlock the defense, and by so doing, the strikers can also come in and get the goals. But if you are playing a low defense, a low block team such as Lesotho, and you rely on one pacey winger, while the other winger is not very pacey and not all that sharp, then that team can capitalize on that. Whenever they have a loose ball, what they do is to hit you on the counter, knowing fully well that we are high pressing side, and by so doing, they are going to cause damage. And we have seen it, from the first half. This early second half, that is what allowed them to take the lead. So for me, I think the coach need to rejig his tactical formation so that he gets it right. Bring in Moses Simon this time around, because if you bring in Moses Simon, he can be able to at the left-hand side of the wing, while Ademola Lookman will also be causing trouble at the right-hand side of the wing. Then the midfielders, Kelechi Iheanacho and Alex Iwobi, can also pressure from the midfield. If the pressure from the midfield and you pressure from the both wings, then the attackers will complement all this pressing, and by so doing, we are going to unlock their defense. But if he stays with this kind of formation without bringing Moses Simon at the left-hand side to force the attack from that angle, I assure you that Lesotho will run away with the victory.
It seems like a prophecy, but prophecy has come to fulfillment. Because Super Eagles have equalized, is 1-1 in the game right now. The goal scored by Semi Ajayi in the 67th minute, courtesy of an assist from Kelechi Iheanacho, that ensured that will restore parity in that game. And like you said, Moses Simon has come in for Ademola Lookman, who has been removed, and then Terry Murphy for that man, Taiwo Awoni, who has been replaced. And so it's game on. Semi Ajayi has just been he's on yellow card right now, so he needs to be very careful, though he scored after he was yellow carded. But what was the feeling like getting the news that the player you advocated has been put into the game, and courtesy of that changes, we've seen a goal already?
For me, I'm not surprised, because we as sports journalists, we see beyond what the ordinary man don't see out there. You see, when I saw them picking up that lead, I had to do the analysis, and I knew it. If
I was like a coach, I'm maybe more like the coach listening to exactly what you say, and then he did that. And true to it, that we now have the guys, because more like it's going to be more pacey. I know what the Super Eagles will do right now, and I know what Moses Simon is all about. Pushing them to the limit, and by pushing them, more fouls, for distance to be committed.
Yeah, definitely, because if you have more pacey wingers as well, and it helps you to attack from all front, then the pressure will come from left and the pressure will come from right. Then the midfielders can also complement that pressure by doing those passes out there that can be able to unlock the defense, and that will leave their defense leaping, because most time they will be flat-footed, knowing fully well they are going to cause the damage. If you are going to concentrate on the wingers, then the midfielders can also cause the damage. So for me, it's a very simple tactical formation that if I were to be a coach, I'm playing this kind of team, expect my team to whitewash such team like 5 or 6-0 in the first half, because I certainly
tell you for sure that the Super Eagles Nigeria have equalized. It's 1-1 now between them and Lesotho, and the game continues. And of course, that goal scored by Semi Ajayi ensure that Nigeria restored parity and still game on. So let's hope that it will be a thrilling. Victor Boniface is one player who has been banging in goals left, right, center.
Yeah.
Another person will expect him. The only way to prove your worth is when you come back and score. Do you think that we might get to see a goal from him today?
Definitely. One thing is for sure, that Victor Boniface is certainly going to find the back of the net, only if the midfielders can be able to do their job, because most time we think that being up there as a striker inside the 18-yard box, fine. If you're good strikers and the midfielders did not deliver the needed passes, you struggle. We've seen it time and time when even Manchester City struggle because of the fact that Kevin De Bruyne went on injury and he could not be able to give Erling Braut Haaland those passes. We saw Erling Braut Haaland struggle for goals. In fact, he played about 5 to 6 games and he had goal drought, because of the fact that De Bruyne went on injury. Just of lately that he began to rediscover his scoring boots for me. So when you have good and sharp strikers up front, if the midfielders are not living up to the expectation, then it becomes very difficult for the strikers to find the back of the net. But I strongly believe that if Kelechi Iheanacho and Alex Iwobi is going to do their job pretty well in the midfield, I assure you that Victor Boniface will certainly be among those strikers that is going to score today.
All right, what will still bring you happenings from the Gospel and Pabio Stadium? Of course, our focus is on the Super Eagles, and so we shall continue to bring you. We're going to a quick break now. When we come back, we'll take you through what is happening, as well as look at other areas of club football here in Nigeria. right, welcome back. You see, Sports Extraordinary, and of course, we're looking at the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Still 1-1 against Lesotho at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium right now, and it's still game on. But before we take a look at other areas of sports, it looks like if it ends draw. Initially, when Lesotho were leading, I asked you whether if what will play out if it ends goalless, if it ends, against Nigeria.
Yeah.
As stands now, this is certainly not the result. But is there anything the coach can do to ensure that we get all the 3 points? Because at this point now, it's about getting the 3 points at home.
Definitely, the coach need to do a whole lot this time around to ensure that we get all the needed victory. I think he should rejig his formation right now. Just like I said, I think he listed his formation right now. Just like I said, I think he listed. He has been able to bring in Moses Simon, in the left flank to be able to terrorize, to cut in from that area. And he can also tell his, midfielders to up their ante by making sure that they give those, killer passes that will enable the striker. 1 or 2 silly mistakes inside the 18-yard box will result to penalty, and you know what that means. It gives you an edge. So for me, I strongly believe that the coach should focus on more of the attack other than trying to bring in defenders, because most time it is the change that can be able to get him the needed result. We saw what happened between Manchester City and Chelsea a few weeks ago. It courtesy of the tactical changes that Mauricio Pochettino did at the halftime. That is what enabled Chelsea to bounce back into that game and was able to draw the game. So most of these games, most of the time, you get to win games from the bench, from the coach aspect of it. That is where you know truly a good coach. Your ability to read, the games on the pitch and effect the right change at the right time. That is what gives you an edge over the opponent. So for me, I expect the coach this time around to rejig his formation, tweak it around to tell your players that they need to do the needful, and by so doing, you get the opponent confused. They don't know.
Because a lot of Nigerians are anticipating to get a maximum goal against Lesotho, but it's still 1-1 at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. Let's move away from the Super Eagles game now, and it is now all agreed, finalized that on the 23rd of December, we're going to see Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder up against Otto Wallens and that man, Miller, on that night, courtesy of the Saudis.
I think it's a great one here, though not the kind of fight that boxing fans has been anticipating. We have been waiting for that very big heavyweight bout between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk at same December, same date, but unfortunately they had to shift it possibly to January next year or thereabout. But I know that that fight will certainly take place come 2024. So in order not to leave boxing fans just like that, they had to fix these 2 games that will definitely be going down there at Saudi, Riyadh to be precise. So for me, I think it's a nice one. This will enable Joshua to build back his confidence, because taking up a fight against a lesser opponent such as his opponent, he need to be on top of his game, because having lost his belt to Andy Ruiz, and before we could say Jack, he lost the final one to Alexander Usyk. Now, as it stands, that fear factor is gone out of Joshua. What he needs right now is to build that confidence, get back the momentum that we saw him, dominate the world of boxing. And by so doing, possibly next year, after building, his CV and portfolio, building a big disaster for him. Because don't forget, the WBC just yesterday had to include Francis Ngannou in the top 10 in the heavyweight division as it stands right now. So one begin to ask certain questions. Does it mean those who have progressed through the rank from middleweight to lightweight and heavyweight, does it mean that all their effort is in vain? Someone just came out from the WBC, that is the Octagon, and just because he had to fight
one of the best,
but nothing was at stake. No belt was at stake. It was just like a formality match, a match that you would say because of the monetary aspect that he has to go down. But having put up a good show today, is now the world number 10 when it has to do with the WBC ranking. So for me, I think if Joshua failed to win this one, and we have the likes of Francis Ngannou coming up in the rank, I bet you in the next years to come, if he did not improve on his game, he's going to drop further on the pecking order, and that would be pretty bad for Anthony Joshua. So I believe with what he said during the press conference yesterday, he's ready for anything, and he's ready to knock, and not just to knock his opponent out, but to dismantle him in total, and that will bring back that memory of